Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, Pattsun, and today we're going to be taking a look at r/divorce, where we see another example of one crazy bitch. Let's begin. My soon-to-be ex-wife absolutely lost her mind. Posted by Reddit user Expensive Spray.
So, after my wife had been caught in an emotional affair, threatened to use her law enforcement contacts against me, told me she wanted a divorce for the 30th time, hurt my daughter and tried to gin up some false domestic violence claims, I opted to file and leave the house. Of course, bad relationships don't get better after you start the divorce process, but holy cow. In 5 months of separation, she had multiple men, tried parental alienation with our shared kids. It backfired against her. She hacked my private accounts with help from her friends, tried to have me ostracized at church and the kids' school, tried to lure me into multiple DV events. I never took the bait. And last but not least, tried having her friend from DC email my boss to demand I be fired. Needless to say, I have weathered the storm and my patience is infinite. I was able to have the world's biggest civil suit put together against her and her friends. After a modification, we are up to 37 counts. So if you ever think your divorce is the worst, remember there are guys like me out there going through a deeper plane of hell to try and reach the freedom of heaven. When I filed, I thought this is a stupid waste of time. She doesn't want to be married, and I don't want to be married to a person who doesn't want to be my wife. Little did I realize how far she was willing to go for an elevated alimony check. All of her friends are exactly the same, and I should have read the writing on the wall 5 years ago when she told me plainly that she would just tell people that she was a domestic violence victim. It all backfired on her. Thank God for the justice system.
Holy shit, I am so sorry for the kind of hell you're going through, OP. But you do seem to have things under control. Seriously, some of these bitches can grow vicious and display levels of vindictiveness that you can only imagine coming from a shitty afternoon soap opera or something. But yet, here we are. Be strong, OP. It will definitely come to an end, and when it does, please post an update. And now for today's second story. My wife has told me that she doesn't love me anymore, so I've moved out to give her some space to think. Oh my god, what a donut. You do not move out in this kind of situation, OP, come on.
My wife has told me that she doesn't love me anymore and asked me to move out of our house for a while to give her space and time to think. I've ended up living back with my parents and feel like a complete failure at life.
Like a little bitch.
I turn 40 next month, married for 14 years, and I'm going to be apart from the woman I love and our 2 children, 8 and 6. She's recently been diagnosed with ADHD, and I think the pills have screwed her brain chemistry. But she refuses to hear it and tells me that she's felt this way for a long time. Only a few months ago she was telling me that she couldn't cope without me, and now I feel like I'm being thrown away. I feel like my life is in limbo and is imploding at the same time. I spent last night walking around Tesco crying to myself. I didn't actually need anything. I only went because I needed to be doing something that felt like a normal activity. I have wandered around the store aimlessly with a trolley, weeping. I'm trying to be pragmatic. Elle've set up a bank account for my wages to be paid into if she does decide to leave me. And I've booked an appointment with the bank to discuss buying her out of the house. I'm not suicidal, but I do find myself wishing that the pain would just stop. I'm losing my family and I feel like there's nothing I can do to fix it. Please, can someone tell me that this gets easier? TLDR, my life is falling to pieces. I still love and adore my wife, but she doesn't feel the same anymore. I'm living with my parents and will turn 40 without my family around me.
OP, you damn donut. Why do you have to leave the house? She has the issue, so she can get her shit and move in with her parents. Look man, unless you're experiencing some sort of abuse, there is no reason why you should ever leave your house. Period. If she needs a break, then she can go fuck off on her own vacation. Gentlemen, voluntarily leaving the home is a stupid idea. She will weaponize that against you in court. She obviously is a terrible partner based on her actions.
Why are you still here?
So she doesn't love you anymore. That's cool. Then she can go find somewhere else to live. Just grow a damn spine, you donut. Trust me, it will benefit you in every aspect of your life. And now for today's third story. I'm suspicious of my partner's new friend. Posted by Reddit user Rhino Lopez.
Me and my partner have been together for 4.5 years. We have lived together for most of that, so we're very close, have a great relationship, and we're currently looking at buying our own place. Last week she was away from Monday to Friday for a work trip. She works in education. It was a trip leading 20 to 30 students on a field course with other members of staff. Our communication was much lower than it usually is when she is away, but I do know that it was a very busy and hectic week. Since she came back, she has mentioned a new male friend a few times who she met on the trip. He also has a long-term girlfriend and they've been together for approximately 5 years. This friend works at the same institution, though in a different building across town. My girlfriend occasionally has to work at this building, but it has been quite rare in the past. This week she has been there more than normal. She has had good reason to be there when I've asked, but it's still been a departure from the ordinary. I know that there was some kind of medical emergency on the trip that meant the two of them were up until 5 a.m. helping a student. A horrible experience all round with absolutely no romantic undertones, but a part of me thinks that something like that will have cemented a bond or friendship. Maybe that's unfair. She told me that at one point last week he guessed her age and said 26. Then in disbelief that she said no, he says there's no way you can be over 28. I don't believe it. Cue massive eye roll from me. I have noticed her texting him a few times too this week. Not excessive, pretty limited. After last week they don't have any work together, so this is nothing about work and they are texting as friends. She hasn't been secretive about it and has told me when I've asked what she's laughing at when looking at her phone. They've sent a couple of quite old photos of themselves that fit a joke they were having. Alarm bells really started ringing here. Later today he is coming to her building and they're going to go swimming in the sea after work. This is a very common thing here, particularly in the circles that we are in, so it's not quite as niche as it sounds. But it is something my partner has wanted to do for a while, but hasn't gotten around to yet. They're also going to have a pizza after. This morning I mentioned to her that I'm not entirely comfortable and a bit of suspicious of this friend. She was very sympathetic and loving, explaining that I'm seeing something that simply isn't there and she loves me and that we're currently viewing houses together, etc. I did feel a bit better at the time, but I really can't shake this bad feeling. She asked if I wanted to come swimming and for a pizza too, but I can't make it due to other commitments. They might bring the pizza back here instead, so there has been an offer to include me. She has other male friends and I've never had a problem before, but all these things combined seem like so many red flags coming up all at once. I trust and believe her 100%. At the same time though I feel like this could just be a ticking time bomb of sorts. Again, I believe her when she says this is 100% platonic. But I do feel like maybe she's enjoying this attention from someone new. Not sure what I'm looking for by posting here. Maybe just trying to get all my thoughts out and have a more in-depth talk with my partner later. Any advice on how to approach the conversation to set boundaries that respect that she is her own person and can have her own friends? TLDR, I am going mad with jealousy over how close my partner has become with a new friend in the space of 2 weeks.
OP, it could possibly be innocent. Nothing suggests that she's cheating on you, at least for now. In my opinion, it seems to be a growing friendship, which definitely has the potential to turn problematic in the future. OP, you've already expressed your discomfort about the situation, and she seems to be receptive about your concerns. Just mention it to her again and set some very clear boundaries. Any step out of line means that she's not the one for you, my friend. And now for today's final story. I broke things off with my girlfriend. Is there anything you would have done differently if in my position? Posted by Reddit user ThrowRAAMD13.
I broke things off with my girlfriend. We were dating for just under 1 year. When we first met, she was outgoing, energetic, and enthusiastic about spending time with me. Things were great. About 8 months into the relationship, I noticed she would come home from work at 5 p.m. and quite literally sleep through the entire night until returning to work the next morning. I would eat dinner by myself, run all errands by myself, etc. The activities we used to do together were no more. If I tried waking her up, gently and politely, she would yell at me that I have no right waking her up and to let her sleep. She would do this several days a week. She also started showering every 2 to 3 days. And because she worked a manual labor job, the smell was bothering me. I talked to her numerous times and told her it felt like I was living with a roommate, and our relationship wasn't thriving. Although she didn't see things that way, she promised me she should change. The issue was that she would only make that effort for short periods of time, a few days, and then return right back to her ways. And when she did make the effort, such as going for a walk with me instead of sleeping after work, it felt forced and more like a favor to me. I suggested that she speak to a professional about why she was sleeping 12 to 15 hours a day. I cared about her health and thought something was wrong. She refused and told me she was just tired from work. I was genuinely concerned that she was depressed and offered to help in any way that I could. I tried working with her on the depression for around 3 to 4 months. I bought small gifts for her to brighten her mood, took us out to dinner, and even booked a short getaway vacation in a luxury resort. With no change in her mood, I was convinced that I was only making matters worse by forcing her into these things, so decided to break up with her. I really do feel horrible for ending things, but I know that I was unhappy, and our relationship was not thriving in any sense. What bothers me is that I know she is a good person and at the beginning of our relationship we're compatible. But she changed into somebody I could never be happy with. I just don't understand why or how. My thought now is that she was unhappy with the relationship and just afraid to tell me and hurt my feelings. If you were in my position, would you have done anything differently to get things back to the way they were at the beginning of the relationship?
Nope, you did nothing wrong here, OP. I mean, you gotta take care of yourself first. And she was a drain on your energy, on your emotion, and your time. There's not much you could have done to prevent this. People just change. People won't seek help until they recognize that there's a problem or until they are ready to address it. It is possible that your girlfriend was suffering from depression, but let's be realistic here. The more probable reason would be that she's just lazy. OP, again, focus on yourself, focus on your career. Good luck with your single life. Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my channels for you to watch absolutely free. So please consider subscribing to me on Rumble and on YouTube. Both will be linked in the description box down below. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, consider subscribing to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.